Look at that. Hey guys, AJ here, back on another one for you. So guys, these 304s are broke as a joke, man. Bastard kids, student loan debt, right? High interest car loans, credit card debt. And now guys, they have to pay a whole bunch of money for daycare. And this wasn't an issue that older generations had because they had housewives that were still taking care of kids, or there was always those 1 or 2 or 3 housewives in the neighborhood who would still watch the kids, right? Now these knuckleheaded 304s are out here being strong and independent.
I am woman, hear me roar, in numbers too big to ignore.
Clown world, right? So guys, we go to the dumpster fire known as TikTok and look at some of these 304s whining about the cost of daycare. But before we do, like, subscribe, drop a comment, guys. Join my Discord. Check out my second channel. There's a playlist at the end, and let's get into this.
For daycare. I've got 2 kids, okay? I am paying $2,675, and that is with a sibling discount.
Look at that!
My daughter, who just moved up from the infant room, when she was in the infant room, her tuition was $1,764 a month.
Damn.
$1,700. How can anybody afford daycare?
Look, she said this is more than her mortgage, guys.
My son, he's 4, so he's in pre-K right now. His tuition is $1,161
Jesus.
a month. Can he be in kindergarten yet? Can I enroll him? I have 1 more year. Drop in the comments how much you guys are paying for daycare. How much are you all paying for?
Look at that, guys. All that money, right? All the outsourced raising her kids to strangers, right? Think about how dumb that is.
Some people are really fucking stupid.
Clown world. This chick says, so she has 174 comments here. When people ask me how I can afford to stay home, I wonder how they can afford daycare. So she's a stay-at-home wife and saying, look, it costs me less money to stay home than to go to work and spend her whole check on daycare. Chick says, I worked at a daycare and got 50% discount. Even with the discount, it was more than they paid me. Look at that. This person says my infant's $1,060 a month. Other chick says that's why I had to quit teaching and stay home with my 3 babies. It was more than my paycheck. Why don't more women do that? That's a good question. Alex, stay-at-home mom? Yeah. Look at that. This person says she's in the military. She still can't afford daycare. These chicks are cooked. Guys, are hashtags. Hashtag daycare costs. Hashtag parenting struggles. Hashtag working mom TikTok. Hashtag working mom. Hashtag single mom. Of course. Clown world.
This is for all of the working parents. How much do you pay for childcare? Because I got quoted, this is the lowest quote that I've received so far for my 4-month-old twins and a 2-year-old. It's $4,600 a month, and that's
$4,600.
It's the lowest that I found so far, just in like a normal daycare center. So how much do you pay? Because I don't feel like that's affordable. I don't know. It's just crazy. And I'm honestly speechless at like how expensive it is. So maybe I am just not with the times with childcare. I don't know. I've never had a baby in childcare like that before. So just let me know. Just let me know how much you pay, because I'm just like super curious. I just think it's so expensive.
There it is, guys. She's cooked, right? And somehow these 304s thought that this was going to be a good idea by having all of them go into work and no one left to watch the kids, so they have to outsource it to strangers getting paid minimum wage.
Some people are really fucking stupid.
Clown world, right? Guys, I don't feel bad for them. I don't feel bad for them. Because guys, oftentimes these knuckleheaded chicks get what they voted for.
Stupid.
Guys, she has 38 comments here. She says, I was in that situation. I have to work second shift since my husband works first shift. We don't see each other much, but it saves daycare costs. It sucks. I feel your pain. Next person says, I looked up this video because I have 3-month-old twins and will be going back to work when they're about 5 to 6 months. I think I'm screwed. Look at that. These chicks are cooked. This one girl says, I pay $560 every 4 weeks for one child. Look at that, man. And a lot of these costs go to these insurances and all this stuff that these places have to have. You know? Guys, when I was young, my great aunt watched us, right? She watched my siblings and I and all the rest of the neighborhood kids. I think my parents paid her like $70 a month for all 3 of us. You know what I'm saying? Because she was a housewife. She was hanging out anyways. You know what I'm saying? Gave us a couple of, cups of applesauce. And some board games, some cartoons, and we were chilling. Look at that. These chicks are cooked. Guys, are hashtags. Hashtag daycare. Hashtag twin mom. Clown world.
I'm up here crunching numbers for this damn daycare. And I realized that it costs $14,000 a year for her to go to daycare.
Look at that.
But it'll cost $9,000 if I wanted to send her to community college right now. If I could send her to community college right now, it's $9,000. If that ain't even still free. What? What? How?
Guys, so she looks like a transformer, right? Look at that.
I'm not here to talk about my transition. I'm here to kick some f***ing ass.
Her voice is deeper than mine. Look at that. She has 13 comments. This person says, I'm a nanny and I get paid $1,000 a week. Wow. Next person says, current daycare cost is crazy. Look at that. Person says, stay at home and watch your own kids. $14K per year. She's not married, you absolute dunderhead.
Stupid.
How is she supposed to stay home? God, guys, these all right, these 304s, they don't make any sense. They make no sense, and they asked for this, guys. They asked for this. And now they're looking down at that daycare cost, and all they hear is,
You can't handle the truth.
this is what you asked for. Guys, are hashtags. Hashtag childcare expenses. Hashtag childcare. Hashtag budget. Hashtag tuition. Hashtag family finances. Hashtag saving money. Clown world.
When somebody tells you they can't afford to have children, this is what they're talking about.
you go.
A woman in my town's Facebook group shared these daycare rates today, and she said, how do you afford kids here? Because nobody knows how anybody is paying for this. For an infant for 5 days a week with 10 hours of care, it is $664 a week. That is just shy of $35,000 a year.
Look at that.
For one child. And the price does not drop that much when they hit pre-K here. It's $521 a week, which is about like $28,000 a year, okay? These are incredibly high rates for daycare. And of course, you could drop down to 9 hours a day or whatever it might be. But here's the thing. When you go to daycare, typically you're going to take the most hours because you have to commute to work, you have to commute back from work, and you have to work 8 hours a day. And unfortunately, when you miss pickup by
Guys, let's pump the brakes right there. You don't have to do this. These women should find a nice guy, marry him, live a reasonable life, and she should stay home and watch the kids. How hard is this? In any city, in any state, it's possible if you live below your means to have the guy work and the woman stay home and watch the kid. That's how it works. You know what I mean?
minute, they start charging you like $2 a minute. So usually it's more cost effective just to pay the higher rate for the 10 hours than to pay for the 9 hours, which is like crazy because it's 1 hour difference. These are rates for one kid. We were talking about one child. Imagine if a family has two kids. They're paying $50,000, $60,000 a year for childcare. That is unsustainable for most families. And yes, the cost goes down slightly as they get older. But what that doesn't account for, that rate sheet, is the annual increase. Every single September, daycare centers raise their tuitions because they have to. And typically that's anywhere between 5 to 20%. And most people are looking at 10% increase. So even though you have that savings when they hit pre-K, by the time your kid hits pre-K, it's been 4 or 5 years. That rate has gone up exponentially, okay? So when someone tells you they can't afford to have children, oftentimes it's because of the cost of childcare. And if it's not just the cost of childcare, it's the cost of housing and groceries. And you compound all those things, healthcare costs, it's incredibly expensive. I did not know, looking back 4 or 5 years ago when I first started having kids, that I would be paying this much money for daycare because the rates looked drastically different. The rates over the last 20 years or something have gone up like 200%. It is wild how expensive childcare is in our country.
And whose fault is that? Right? Guys, whose fault is that? It's these effinists.
I am woman, hear me roar, in numbers too big to ignore.
Clown world. Trying to shame any chick who wanted to be a traditional and be a stay-at-home mom. Right? To try and paint child rearing and taking care of your children as a woman being enslaved. Right? To where no women choose to stay home and be a resource to the whole neighborhood. Absolute clown world. I don't feel bad for them.
If we had affordable childcare, it would not only benefit families and children, it would benefit the economy, it would benefit businesses, and it would benefit us as a greater society. The economy would be better for it. This is not just a parent problem, right? But like people constantly are looking at adults who are married or of, birthing years and saying, why aren't you having kids? And we're looking around saying, how could we possibly have kids when we can't even afford to buy a house?
We used to have affordable childcare. It was called stay-at-home moms. Guys, these chicks are cooked. They're cooked. You guys notice that in like Southeast Asia and other places where women aren't flooded into the male sector of the workforce, they don't have this issue? And they have more kids? Isn't it funny how that works? Africa, Southeast Asia, South America, right? Isn't it funny how that works? Absolutely insane. Guys, she has 1,900 comments. It says they're charging $55 to $75 an hour while paying their employees $15 an hour. Look at that. Someone says we paid $30,000 a year for my daughter's childcare. Look at that. Someone said daycare worker here. I can only afford childcare because I work at the center that my kids go to. Knucklehead, why don't you stay home and take care of your kids? So she's working, taking care of someone else's kids instead of taking care of her own. Why? Guys, why? What is going on?
Some people are really fucking stupid.
Clown world. Absolute. Guys, I don't feel bad for him. Right? Here's the thing. A lot of guys aren't even trying to have kids these days. Right? Or they're passport bros. You know? I know a friend of mine. He met a girl in Southeast Asia, right? And she was like, sweet. So you mean that I can go from Southeast Asia, from a poor country there, to being a housewife and the richest country in America? Sweet. Guys are hashtags. Hashtag childcare. Hashtag daycare. Hashtag daycare life. Hashtag childcare crisis. Hashtag millennial mom. Hashtag moms of TikTok. Hashtag new parents. Hashtag working mom. Guys, I don't feel bad for them. All right, you guys. AJ, I appreciate you guys. Like, subscribe, and I'm out of here, guys. Have a good one.